I am 97 years old, and if there is one thing I have learned after nearly a century of living, it is that long life is rarely the result of one dramatic decision. It is the quiet result of what you do every single day, not occasionally, not when you feel motivated, but daily. People often ask me what the secret is. They expect a miracle food, a rare supplement, or some mysterious genetic advantage. I always tell them the truth. There is no single secret. There are only habits, small, ordinary behaviors repeated for decades that slowly shape the body, the mind, and the years ahead of you. A long life is not built in a moment. It is built in routines. Every morning when I wake up, I remember something my father once told me when I was a young girl. He said, "Your body is like a garden. What you plant today is what you will live inside tomorrow." At the time, I did not fully understand his words, but after 97 years, I can tell you he was right. What you eat today affects the health of your heart 10 years from now. How much you move today influences the strength of your bones 20 years from now. How you manage stress today shapes the health of your brain later in life. Science now explains what many older generations simply practiced by instinct. Daily habits affect metabolism, cardiovascular health, immune strength, and even how quickly our cells age. Small actions repeated consistently can either protect the body or slowly wear it down. I did not live this long by accident. I lived this long by routine. So today I want to share the daily habits that carried me through nearly a century of life, habits that support a longer life and, just as importantly, a healthier one. If you understand them early enough, they can quietly change the direction of your entire future. If you truly want to live a long and healthy life, you must begin with the most basic habit of all: how you feed your body every day. Food is not simply fuel. Over time, it becomes the architecture of your health. The cells in your muscles, your heart, your brain, even your immune system are constantly rebuilding themselves using the nutrients you give them. When I was younger, people did not talk about metabolism or antioxidants the way scientists do today. But we understood something very simple. The body works better when it is nourished with real food. For most of my life, my meals were built around whole foods. Vegetables were always present. Beans, grains, and fresh produce formed the center of the plate. Meat was occasional, not dominant. Sugar was something we tasted rarely, not something hidden in everything we ate. Looking back now, modern research confirms what those habits quietly protected. Diets rich in plant foods support cardiovascular health, stabilize blood sugar, and reduce chronic inflammation. These effects may sound technical, but their results are very human. Fewer heart attacks, stronger immunity, and a body that ages more slowly. But eating well alone is not enough. The second habit that shaped my long life was movement, not extreme exercise, not punishing workouts, simply daily motion. I walked nearly every day of my life. Sometimes it was a slow walk to the market. Sometimes it was tending a garden, carrying groceries, or cleaning the house. Movement was never scheduled as a performance. It was woven naturally into daily living. What I did not know at the time, but what researchers now explain clearly, is that regular movement strengthens the cardiovascular system and improves metabolic flexibility. It keeps blood circulating, muscles active, and joints functional. Walking alone improves circulation, supports the brain, and reduces the risk of many chronic diseases. The human body was designed to move, and when we stop moving, the systems that sustain us begin to weaken. Sleep was another habit that quietly protected my health over the decades. I always respected sleep. I went to bed at consistent times and woke with the morning light whenever possible. It may sound simple, but sleep is one of the most powerful biological repair systems the body possesses. During sleep, the brain clears waste products, the immune system recalibrates, and tissues repair themselves. People often treat sleep as optional, but after living almost a century, I can tell you this: sleep is not wasted time. It is biological maintenance. There is another habit people rarely expect me to mention, but it has shaped my health just as much as food or exercise. That habit is managing stress. Over a long life, you will face loss, disappointment, uncertainty, and hardship. I have lived through wars, economic struggles, and the loss of people I loved deeply. Stress cannot be avoided completely, but how you respond to it matters greatly. When stress remains constant, the body releases hormones that raise blood pressure, weaken the immune system, and strain the heart. Modern medicine now describes this process as chronic stress response. Yet long before scientists named it, many people instinctively developed ways to calm the mind. For me, it was quiet reflection, time in nature, and conversation with people I trusted. These moments allowed the body to return to balance. Another daily habit that protected my health was hydration. When people think about health, they often focus only on food, but water is just as essential. Every system in the body depends on it: circulation, temperature regulation, digestion, and even cognitive function. As we age, our sense of thirst becomes less reliable, which means many older adults live in a constant state of mild dehydration without realizing it. Throughout my life, I made it a habit to drink water regularly during the day, especially in the morning and after physical activity. Sunlight was another quiet ally of health. Many modern lifestyles keep people indoors for most of the day, but sunlight plays an important biological role. It helps regulate circadian rhythms, supports mood, and enables the body to produce vitamin D, which is important for bone health and immune function. I spent much of my life outside, walking, gardening, or simply sitting in the sun for a short time each day. But longevity is not only physical. Emotional health also shapes how we age. One of the strongest predictors of long life is something surprisingly simple: connection with other people. Throughout my life, I stayed close to family, neighbors, and friends. We shared meals, helped each other during difficult times, and celebrated small joys together. Social connection reduces loneliness, which researchers now recognize as a powerful factor affecting both mental and physical health. When people live in isolation, stress hormones increase, sleep worsens, and even immune function declines. In contrast, meaningful relationships provide emotional stability and resilience. Humans are not meant to live alone. Our biology responds positively to companionship, trust, and shared experience. There was also another habit that quietly protected my future: moderation. I did not follow extreme diets. I did not push my body into exhaustion. I avoided smoking and rarely drank alcohol. Extremes often damage the body over time. Balance protects it. Many people imagine that longevity requires extraordinary discipline. In reality, it requires consistency. None of these habits are dramatic on their own. Eating nourishing food, moving daily, sleeping well, managing stress, drinking enough water, spending time in sunlight, staying connected with others, avoiding destructive behaviors. Each one may seem small when viewed individually, but habits do something remarkable over time. They compound. Just as small financial investments grow through interest, daily habits accumulate their effects year after year. Healthy routines strengthen the heart, support the brain, protect the immune system, and slow the biological processes that lead to disease. When I look back across 97 years, I do not see one defining moment that determined my health. Instead, I see thousands of ordinary days shaped by ordinary habits, and those habits quietly built the life I am still living today. As the decades passed, I began to notice something that many people overlook when they are young. Health does not suddenly disappear one day. It changes slowly, almost silently, depending on how we treat our bodies year after year. The daily habits you practice in your 30s shape your body in your 50s. What you do in your 50s determines how strong and independent you remain in your 70s and 80s. When I was a younger woman, I did not think about aging very often. Life was busy. There was work to do, a household to manage, people to care for. But the habits I practiced every day were quietly shaping the future I would eventually live inside. Now, at 97, I can clearly see how those habits protected my body over time. One habit that proved incredibly important was maintaining strength. Many people believe aging automatically means becoming weak or fragile, but weakness is often the result of inactivity rather than age itself. Muscles are living tissues. If you use them, they remain strong. If you stop using them, they gradually disappear. Throughout my life, I kept my body engaged with simple physical work. I lifted groceries, carried water, worked in the garden, and cleaned my home without relying on machines for every task. These activities may not look like formal exercise, but they kept my muscles active and my joints flexible. Today, scientists call this resistance activity, and it plays a powerful role in maintaining bone density and muscle mass as we age. Strong muscles do more than help you move. They protect your metabolism, support your balance, and reduce the risk of falls. Falls are one of the greatest dangers for older adults, but strength and coordination significantly reduce that risk. Even simple habits like standing up from a chair without using your hands or carrying moderate weight can help maintain functional strength for decades. Another daily habit that shaped my longevity was protecting the health of my brain. The brain, like the body, thrives when it is challenged. Throughout my life, I remained curious. I read books, learned new skills, and stayed mentally engaged with the world around me. I never allowed my mind to become idle for long. The brain forms new neural connections when we learn, think, and explore new ideas. Modern neuroscience describes this ability as neuroplasticity. It means that the brain can adapt and grow even in later life. But like muscles, it requires activity. Reading, solving problems, learning languages, or even engaging in thoughtful conversation can help maintain cognitive strength. I also made a habit of maintaining a sense of purpose. This may sound philosophical, but it has real biological consequences. People who feel useful and connected to meaningful work often experience better mental health, lower stress levels, and greater resilience during difficult times. Purpose creates direction, and direction sustains motivation to care for the body and mind. In my younger years, my purpose was caring for my family and contributing to my community. Later in life, my purpose shifted towards sharing knowledge, supporting younger generations, and remaining engaged with the people around me. Purpose evolves, but it should never disappear entirely. Another habit that quietly supported my health was spending time outdoors. Nature has a calming effect on the human nervous system. When you walk among trees, listen to birds, or feel the sunlight on your skin, the body often shifts from a state of tension to a state of balance. Stress hormones decline, breathing becomes deeper, and the mind settles. I spent many afternoons in the garden during my life. Gardening may appear simple, but it combines movement, sunlight, fresh air, and mental focus. These factors together support both physical and emotional health. There's also something else that becomes clearer as you age: the importance of moderation in technology and noise. The modern world surrounds us with constant stimulation, screens, notifications, and endless information. While technology can be useful, the brain also needs quiet moments to recover. Throughout most of my life, evenings were calm. After dinner, conversations slowed, lights dimmed, and the body prepared naturally for rest. These rhythms helped maintain healthy sleep cycles. Today, many people expose their brains to bright screens late into the night, which disrupts the body's internal clock and makes restful sleep more difficult. Sleep, as I mentioned earlier, is essential for repair. During deep sleep, the brain clears metabolic waste through a system scientists now call the glymphatic system. This process helps protect long-term brain health. Consistent sleep routines allow these restorative processes to occur regularly. Another daily behavior that influenced my health was eating slowly and stopping before I felt overly full. When you eat slowly, the body has time to register satiety signals. This prevents overeating and allows digestion to proceed more comfortably. In several cultures known for longevity, people practice a similar principle, stopping eating when they feel about 80% full. This habit protects metabolic health. Excess calorie intake over long periods contributes to obesity, diabetes, and cardiovascular disease. Moderation in eating helps the body maintain balance. I also learned the importance of gratitude. Gratitude may seem unrelated to biology, but emotions influence physiology more than many people realize. When you focus constantly on frustration or anger, the body remains in a state of tension. But gratitude shifts attention toward appreciation and calm. Each evening, I would take a moment to think about something good that had happened during the day. Sometimes it was something small, a conversation with a friend, a pleasant walk, or a beautiful sunset. These moments helped cultivate emotional resilience and reduce the mental weight of daily worries. Over nearly a century of living, I have seen many people chase dramatic solutions to health problems: extreme diets, intense exercise programs, complicated supplements. But the truth I have observed again and again is much simpler. Health is rarely the result of a single powerful action. It is the result of hundreds of small actions repeated consistently for years. When these habits work together, nourishing food, regular movement, mental engagement, emotional balance, restful sleep, and meaningful relationships, they create a foundation that protects the body and mind as time passes. And when practiced daily, these habits do something extraordinary. They make aging a slower, gentler process. Now that I have lived 97 years, people often look at me with curiosity, sometimes even disbelief. They ask how it is possible to remain active, clear-minded, and peaceful at this age. But the truth is not mysterious. Longevity is rarely the result of luck alone. It is the quiet reward of daily choices made over a lifetime. When I look back, I do not remember dramatic turning points that suddenly improved my health. Instead, I remember ordinary mornings, ordinary meals, ordinary walks, and ordinary conversations. Those small moments repeated themselves thousands of times across the decades, and together they shaped the life I am living today. The body responds to consistency. When you nourish it with real food, it builds strong cells. When you move every day, it maintains circulation, muscle strength, and balance. When you sleep well, your brain and immune system repair themselves. When you manage stress and stay connected to others, your heart and mind remain resilient. These habits are simple, but their effects accumulate quietly over time. Every day you practice them, you are making a small investment in the years ahead. The body remembers these investments. Longevity does not require perfection. I did not live perfectly, and no one does. What matters is direction. If most of your days include nourishing food, movement, rest, sunlight, connection, and calm reflection, your body gradually moves toward health rather than away from it. After nearly a century of life, the lesson I want to share is this: your future health is not decided all at once. It is shaped by the habits you practice today, tomorrow, and the day after that. If you care for your body consistently, it will carry you farther than you might ever imagine.